I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Implemented so that
for members. The board approved an EPAC expense to print on manuals. The board had interviewed FAP and MAP candidates. The board met with members of the OPA team. The board reviewed a request from a member. The board discussed and gave guidance to the marketing committee. With legal, the board approved the executive session minutes from November 8th, December 15th, November 15th, December 13th, December 18th, and January 10th. The board received a number of updates from legal. The board approved the investment transaction report. The board approved to send the following accounts to the collection attorney to foreclose on the lien and to record the notice of default on the following: APN 419-320-053, APN 440-270-023, APN 440-141-017, APN 419-293-016, and APN 440-081-016. The board approved to send the following accounts to the collection attorney to start the foreclosure process on APN 440-270-028, APN 440-320-019, APN 440-133-018, APN 440-040, APN 440-082-015. With the formation of contracts, the board received updates from the management company on several items. The board met with the Securitas district manager. The board received updates from Securitas on pending. The board approved the 2024 management contract with FSR, setting $148,000. The board met with their investment banking representatives. The board approved the 2023 audit with Fitzgerald Associates. The board approved the 2024 insurance with Lamar Oxley. The board received and filed an investment activity report. The board received and filed the project activity report. The board approved a change order for the North Clubhouse Pool and Spa to replace the mastic around the pool and spa. The board approved to ratify some operating expenditures to reserves. The board approved an emergency repair of the F&B glycol system. The board agreed to the 2024 legal rate with Peoria Rates and Power. The board approved to replace the planning compliance and operations maintenance vehicles. The board approved the use of a few new product vendors. The board held a discussion on investment banking. The board held a discussion on food and beverage. The board reviewed and approved the October to November and November to December narrative and analytic report with Securitas. They will both be put online. The board approved the replacement of some golf course equipment, maintenance equipment. And the board met and received updates from Jorge Perez from Beam Designs and architect Paul Collins regarding the lounge expansion. And that completes the executive session action report.
Thank you. Next is Sub Association Lakeside. 5-2. Fairway Village. 1 out of 3.
It's working good, all right. Just a little update on the village. We've been operating with the assistant delegate for some time now, and hopefully tonight this afternoon we get approval for a active, real-life, full district delegate for our district. We also have elections coming up, as everybody else does. We have two positions that were available, and we have candidates for those, and everything is ready to go forward directly for 2024. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Next is Delegate Assembly.
Good afternoon, board, homeowners, residents, and guests. Dolores Dowery is not available today. She asked me to say a few words for her.
Pardon me? Okay. During the January District Assembly meeting, the Assembly voted to use Robert's Rules of Order. Actually, Joe Firmino stated that he followed Robert's Rules of Order, so this vote just confirmed his leadership. January 16th, the Assembly held a workshop tutorial to give its members an overview of Robert's Rules. I gave the tutorial. Lastly, at the workshop, Dolores announced my appointment as District Delegate Assembly Parliamentarian. Thank you very much.
Pass Action Group.
Board. My name is Harry Finnegan, part of the Pass Action Group. As you know, the hearing has been postponed until January 31st, and most of the group will be going there. The courtroom where it's going to be held is fairly small, so unfortunately it would not make a lot of sense for a lot of people to attend. You may not even be able to get in. The room is very small. But we will let you know immediately after the hearing what happens. In regard to the new project going right up to our borders on the east side, it's called Sunset Crossroads. It's 10 times as bigger as the project across from Gate 1. The Pass Action Group has made no decision at this time to get involved. We don't have the authority. We're not allowed to use the money. We have to get involved. The Pass Action Group has formed a committee of 6 individuals to write a letter and respond to the environmental report that was just done in December. And what this does, it leaves the door open for the Pass Action Group or any other group in Sun Lakes to get involved in the future. This is going to be big, and the board and the residents of the Pass Action Group will not let this go without fighting. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is the OPA project.
Good afternoon, members of the board, members from FSR, and the larger community. My name is Cal Martin, and I am here to give you a brief update on the progress from the OPA project. The OPA team met with the board on the 10th of January in executive session to review current progress and answer any questions they had. So far, everything is on track, and that's good because it was planned. All essential FSR job descriptions have been reviewed with each of the individual board members, as the job descriptions we initially received could be applicable to any properties managed by FSR. The goal was determining position specifications to obtain the required and desirable results, specifically for Sun Lakes community. This information was sent to the board and to Sequoia Grove Consulting for review. We received an initial portion of the governing policy from Sequoia Grove Consulting, which was the introduction. It's good it came first. Sequoia Grove will now begin creating a complete index for the governance policy that the board will review and then approve. Our expectation is that 80% of the most important policy will be completed and reviewed by the board in advance of the coming elections. We are anticipating late March in this year. This will also include recommended modifications to the Sun Lakes chartered committees to ensure that they align with the governing policy. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin.
Just let everybody know, we are having some technical difficulties. Something with the soundboard back there. There is no audio recording out to 97 right now. We are working on that. We're going to get some audio or an audio recording device put up here, an iPad, and then Hernan and his team will be able to mix it in later. But I just want to let you guys know that that's what's going on right now.
And speak right into the microphones, please.
Yes, speak into the microphones.
Next to the city of Banning, I don't believe we have a representative. Next is the bingo advisor.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Karen Royer, and I am co-chair of the Bingo Committee for Sun Lakes Bingo. We are pleasantly surprised since we started this year. We have had quite a few crowds each week, which we're very happy about. They come to socialize, play bingo, and eat. They even bring their own snacks. But speaking of eating, I'd like to thank Chef Chris and Thomas for providing dinners. They're available to everyone that comes, and we're very proud that we're able to contribute to the revenue of the restaurant. We are closed and we are dark the first Tuesday of the month. The rest of the Tuesdays we do play. We open the doors at 4:30. We're usually done about 8:45. So if you're not doing anything on Tuesday, come out and join us. We'd love to have you. And I think that concludes. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Next is Common Area Advisory Committee. Double duty.
Double duty, expensive. Just a little report. It's winter time, so therefore the common area outside is pretty much dormant. We'll wait until about March. Things are going to start to grow like they always do, and hopefully we'll be right on top of it to keep track of it so nothing gets out of order. Watching all of the hills, make sure that they are cleaned out and growing and wet so that we don't have any issues with fire. So if there are anything that you see that you have a complaint with, feel free to call me most anytime. Thank you.
Thank you. EPAM.
Good afternoon, Mr. President, board members, FSR, and fellow residents. We're continuing to clean up our contact list for texting purposes. We found that some of the phone numbers we had have changed or were landlines. We now have current lists for our EPAP coordinators. On Tuesday, February 6th, the community awareness meeting, we will be having a local company called Sea Devil Lighting. They will talk about battery packs that plug into outlets and or can be used with solar during times when we have power outages. They will power up CPAP machines, oxygen machines, and those types of things. They also have generators for whole houses or just for small appliances or large appliances. So they'll come and talk about what they have and what we might be able to use. On Thursday, February 15th, Clark Botha from Loma Linda University Pharmacy will talk to us on stockpiling your prescription medications in case of an emergency. He'll also go over changes to Medicare that started this year. Then on Saturday, February 17th, we will be having an open house at the Emergency Operations Center from 1 to 4 p.m. We encourage all of you to come visit us, see what our Emergency Operations Center looks like, see how our radio teams communicate with the outside world, and our supplies that we might need to use in case of an emergency. We will offer coffee, cookies, soda, and water, so please come. Thank you.
Thank you. Finance Advisory Committee. Next is the Golf Advisory Committee. Finance will be determined today, afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Callahan, Chairman of the Golf Advisory Committee. The GAC would like to thank all residents who participated in golf activities at Sun Lakes in 2023. Golf operations are expected to finish better than budget for the year. Pro Shop sales in December were $30,000, double the amount compared to the same period the previous year. Thank you to members for heeding the warnings regarding the expiration of script. Golf rounds for 2023 were 29,000 rounds on the championship course and 15,000 rounds on the executive course. Even with over 30 days of closures due to weather last year, both of these totals were an increase over the previous year. In 2023, Sun Lakes held various golf activities to involve golfers and non-golfers. June marked the return of the Pro-Am Shootout that provided residents and their guests open access to the golf course as spectators for this event. In December, pro golfer Dave Stockton, winner of 25 Champions and PGA tournaments, held a short game clinic on the main putting green. This clinic was open to all residents. It was well attended, entertaining, and enjoyed by golfers and non-golfers alike. Similar events are being discussed for the upcoming year. In 2024, the GAC and Pro Shop look forward to continuing to support various golf activities. In addition to the activities provided by Sun Lake 6 golf clubs, the GAC welcomes activities that involve non-golfers in our community. Pass putters run by the Pro Shop and pitch putt party run by Linda Spalding both have participation by residents who consider themselves non-golfers. The GAC is always interested in expanding golf activities, especially those that might appeal to non-golfing residents, to engage them in the golf community in which they chose to live. If any resident has a novel idea for an event that might appeal to all residents, please let the Pro Shop or a member of the GAC know.
Thank you. Library Committee.
Good afternoon. My name is Peter Fernandez. I'm the chairperson for the Library Committee. There's really nothing update at this time, although March the 2nd, we're looking forward to our big book sale in conjunction with the activities days. And so we'll get some flyers and additional information out on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Next is Lifestyle.
Hi, I'm Linda Vieira from the Lifestyle Advisory Committee. We welcome 2 new members to our committee. Marty Peck and Donna Henning will be joining our committee. They were a lot of fun. Lifestyles. Normally I would be holding up a lifestyle, but I just got here just in time. Lifestyle Magazine is the resource most Sun Lakers use to plan the events of their days, weeks, and even months. This slick little magazine tells you what's going on in our advisory committees, clubs, and groups, what's happening and coming up in the lounge and restaurant, recreation department, golf course, delegate assembly, and master board. It gives you contact information for almost everything going on, available in or coming up in Sun Lake. It's what most of us turn to in order to find out what's going on in our community, including articles from the master board, delegate assembly, first service, Restaurant, Golf Pro, and all advisory committees. Clubs and groups send articles and photos to sunlakesnews@yahoo.com by the 6th of each month. The Lifestyles Advisory Committee meets on the 7th of each month, unless that date falls on a weekend or holiday, to review and edit the articles submitted for each month's issue of the magazine. To keep updated about events coming up in our community, we meet with our Master Board Liaison, Lori Hazelton, Assistant General Manager Jason Ewald, and a Recreation Department Director. We publish want ads and for sale items at no cost from residents and hide a monthly joke for readers to find. We include paid ads from vendors who have served our residents well. We also publish Friends We Will Miss, a special Did You Know section, and messages of gratitude from residents. Responses to our Get the Joke contest are put in a hat, and a winner is randomly drawn, earning a restaurant gift card as a prize. Photographs taken by residents of areas within Sun Lakes are used on the magazine's cover. If you're good at proofreading and are interested in joining us, please fill out a volunteer application form that you can get in the lobby. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Next is Marketing Advisory Committee.
You didn't start timing me yet, did you? Good afternoon, everyone. Master Board, Michelle Walter from the Marketing Committee. I'm the chairperson. We had our last meeting yesterday. I think this is a little loud, so I'm going to stand a little bit further back. No. Oh, no? You can't? Okay, because it was just blaring right here to me. Okay, so we had our last meeting yesterday, January 23rd. Jerry Blodgett on our committee is also working with the coupon book with Thomas and Brian for new homeowners and should be completed by our next meeting. So that we can recommend this to the Master Board. We've already approved this. We have updated the website pictures when you log on, and we'll be updating them quarterly. Bonnie Seaver and Hernan have worked on the homes for sale, now live on our Sun Lakes website. You don't have to log into our site to get the listing of homes for sale in Sun Lakes. It will be under community information. We only have a printer description file at this time. However, for more information, buyers can search the address or consult with a realtor. Our committee has broken into two focus groups. One group will be working on a virtual brochure for the website and a regular handout brochure including all our amenities. The second group will be working on marketing the lounge expansion, features, advantages, and benefits, also known as FAB, per Jerry Blodgett's recommendation. We may be coming up with a real survey that might be distributed via a surveys@sunlakecc.com email address. This is just an idea. We're just working on this. And we'll, come up and make sure that the board is totally aware of what we're doing. Our next welcome home will be tomorrow, January 25th at 5 o'clock. We have a total of 45 new homeowners for this welcome home dinner. The next welcome home after this will be April 25th. The following are the stats on the home sales here in Sun Lakes from January 1st to January 23rd. Active or coming soon as of January 23rd, 24 homes and 4 condos. In escrow as of January 23rd, 8 homes and 2 condos. Closed escrows of January 23rd, 5 homes, average price $410,600. Total homes and condos sold in 2023 were 241. 205 homes, price ranges from $270 to $633. 36 condos, price range from $240 to $365. So, if you take that 2,076 times 241, that equals $316 that would have gone towards our replenishment fund. We are so lucky that this passed with an 85.9% approval rate. Our next meeting for the marketing is February 13th at 2:30 in the admin. And I just want to say something real quick. I think I've got a few more minutes.
A few more minutes, a few more seconds.
I mean, a few more seconds. Candace did say, but we are having our presentation, community awareness, and it's called Preparedness Awareness, what you need to know. And speakers are going to be Candace and Janice Wright, and she already said whoever it's going to be. So I hope everybody will be here and support our EPAM. Thank you.
Thank you. Just made it. Master Architectural.
Good afternoon, David Keeley, Vice Chair of the Master Architectural Committee. Last December's report was an excellent overview of the activity of the Master Architectural Committee for 2023. It was really fascinating. I thank Roy, our chair, for pulling on that information. It was really interesting. This month, in the February issue, I provide a step-by-step guide for you to go to the Sun Lakes website to find information about what we do at the Master Architectural Committee in processing applications for changes to the outside of our properties. It's the reason I provided this step-by-step is because although the people in this room probably are really familiar with how to navigate our site, I struggled. Now, I don't know why, but maybe you navigate our website a little easier than I do. So I went through the guidelines. I'm not going to share them now, but take a look at the February issue of the Lifestyles magazine. It talks about the guidelines that we have to go by in taking care of applications for changes to our property. So it's specific architectural standards. They're included in part 1 of the rules and regulations, and I give you a step-by-step, and it's pretty easy to find that on our website. It's a good exercise in part to look at something like exterior lighting, because we're seeing a lot of applications, or we're seeing a lot of people who are making changes to the lighting of their property that are not inconsistent with our guidelines. So a good example would be to go to Article 7, 7.2, exterior lighting. It happens to be on page 75. The reason I'm showing this information is this used to be year after year in your telephone book. And this next year will not be in the telephone book because I think on the agenda today is the approval of changes. There are a number of changes to rules and regulations that take effect now. And so these changes are not going to be published. Our rules and guidelines are not going to be published this year in the telephone book. So take a look at the article in Lifestyle. I'm doing a promo for Lifestyles magazine for you, Linda. Take a look at that, the report of the Master Architectural Committee. Thank you all.
Thank you, David. Next is the Procurement Advisory Committee.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ron Varner, a member of the Procurement Advisory Committee, filling in for Bob Hicks, who I hope is enjoying his vacation in Mexico at this point. I hope he's there. He was stranded in Denver earlier today. But anyway, as most of you know, the Procurement Advisory Committee is a relatively new committee for Sun Lakes. The committee was founded in 2022 to advise and make recommendations to the board and to management on matters pertaining to requests for proposals, requests for quotes, vendor proposals, and draft contracts. We don't get involved in the management of contracts or in the development of the RFP. That's done by management. Our activity so far for this year has been, as I think the general manager reported, the request, we've been reviewing the request for proposal on the expansion of the lounge. Our report is due tonight, and it'll be going to the board when I get back home after this meeting. What we have been doing is reviewing of existing contracts. We have about 15 existing contracts that recur on an annual basis, Securitas, our maintenance, landscape maintenance, those. So we are just reviewing those, where they are, when they're going to be coming up for renewal. And then secondly, we've been reviewing expected contracts for this year. So those of you that looked at the budget for this year, you'll see that the spending plan for reserve and replacement is about 2.8 million. Consists of probably 50 to 60 projects, most of which will probably require requests for proposals. So we're anticipating a busy year. Our committee consists of 5. We think maybe we're undermanned. Our charter, which we operate under, calls for 7, so anyone who'd like to join the fray with us, please join us, contact us, or do a volunteer form. We meet on the 3rd Monday of every month at 9 a.m., which is always a problem for me, Mondays at 9 a.m. Not good, especially if it's raining. And we meet in the administrative conference room, and we welcome any of you to attend our meetings. So that is our report. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ron. Next is the recreation. RV storage. Restaurant lounge.
Good afternoon, board residents. My name is David Bucket, and I'm the chairperson for the RV Storage Lot Committee. I'd like to report that we stickered and audited the lots this month, and it all went well. We found some discrepancies and are currently resolving them. We had an improvement this year with leasees paying their leases within the grace period. Last year at this time, we probably had 25 that hadn't paid. All had paid this year except for 2, and we have sent a non-renewal and making notices to them. Much improvement over last year. I want to say, give a shout out to McKenna and administration, because she really stayed on top of those people that were behind in paying. Anyway, we reviewed and inspected 2 cargo trailers and approved their leases for the lot. We are still 100% full in the RV lot, but have dramatically reduced the wait list. I want to say one last thing. I didn't put it on the report, but I was thinking about it. I've been getting a lot of complaints from people in the RV lot about the continuing gate problems. You know, I mean, last week it was, you couldn't get in without calling. This week it's, you can't get out without calling. So I get calls from that a lot. So I wanted to make sure I reported that problem. Anyways, a short report, that's all I have to say. And well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Remember, when that happens, what you do is you call Securitas 452-163, notify them, and they will get it resolved immediately.
And just a quick,
so you won't be stuck there forever.
And just a quick add-on, we won't start the 3 minutes. We are aware of that, and we are working with Cal Gates to address that. And there's another gate issue that we're having with the readers, so we are on that.
Thank you.
You ready?
We're ready.
Okay. For the restaurant lounge, the 2024 is really gearing up to be a busy year. All in the restaurant, the lounge, and the Sandwich Bar and Grill. And our committee is very excited to be part of the planning for the different events throughout the year. Next month, which I can't believe already I'm saying this, but Valentine's Day will offer a special limited menu which I have a copy of right here, hot off the press, created by Chef Chris to celebrate this special day. It will be open seating and reservations are highly recommended. Please note that there will be no happy hour on that Wednesday. And then the menu will be posted on the website, and it's also available in the, right there by the receptionist desk. Special events will also take place on St. Patrick's Day, Easter, and Mother's Day. And then information will be available on the website in the very near future on those. As we approach the start of construction of the lounge expansion, there will be some changes to the food and beverage operation. The Sandwich will become the main dining venue with overflow into the north end of the restaurant. The main lounge will be closed. The Sandwich will be open as the lounge during renovation. There will be a scaled-down renovation menu that is designed to meet the needs of our members. And then there will be specials created by Chef Chris on the weekends. And then after collecting data over the past months, there's been very little patronage for the breakfast on weekdays. A difficult decision was made to eliminate breakfast starting February 1st. However, breakfast will be served on Saturday and Sunday. This move will help in reducing wasted hours and labor, the highest cost for the food and beverage department. In addition to helping with the event planning, our committee is taking on additional responsibilities this year by working with the staff and reviewing labor hours, cost of goods, and hours of operation. With data provided and reviewing the financial statements, our goal is to help the master board keep the cost of food and beverage amenity within the budget plan for 2024. And finally, our monthly brunch is this Sunday. So if you haven't had the opportunity to enjoy this fantastic food event, now's the time. And reservations, again, are highly recommended, so call and get them today. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcia. Safety Advisory Committee.
Good afternoon, board, management, and fellow Sun Lakers. There's been an increased collaboration recently between the Banning Police Department and Securitas, our security company. Security has observed a heightened presence of Banning Police Department inside Sun Lakes, patrolling various districts. This adds to our overall security and can provide residents with a peace of mind concerning safety. Director Mike Romero of Securitas invites residents to visit our main gate office and ask for him or Lieutenant Roman to open up communication on safety and to educate new residents on rules and regulations here at Sun Lakes. They can be contacted at the main phone number at the main gate. They will cover essential security topics such as fire safety precautions, package delivery safety, and effective ways to safeguard our homes. For reviews and reminders going forward, we need to always be aware of certain things. The maximum speed limit in Sun Lakes is 25 miles per hour, and this is only on 2 streets, Country Club Drive and Glen Eagles Drive. All the other streets, the speed limit is 20 miles per hour. In the sub-associations, the speed limit is 15. Please observe these speed limits. Also, we've had issues with people not observing stop signs, going through them. This is an ongoing problem, and we just ask everybody for their own safety and for the safety of everybody else in Sun Lakes to observe stop signs. When driving, be aware of the many pedestrians we have here in Sun Lakes. Many residents have jogging or walking routines. Be a defensive driver and keep safety in mind at all times. Dog owners, please keep your pets on a leash when walking. We don't want any accidents. Also, be courteous and pick up after your dog. Keep your garage doors closed. The only time your garage door should be open is when you are working in the garage. There are over 3,300 homes here in Sun Lakes. Try always to be vigilant and mindful of your neighbor. If you see something, say something. By working together, we can make this community as safe as possible. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next is the consent agenda. consent agenda will be read by First Service.
Okay, for the consent agenda that the board will be approving is the minutes for the open session on November 15th and the December 7th CCNR amendment open ballot tabulation attached. Also is a resolution to record lien. Those properties that are covered under this resolution are account number 0306-03, 2594-02, 0878-02, 2378-01, and 2380-01. That completes the items on the consent agenda.
Thank you. Any board member wish to pull or remove anything from the consent agenda? If not, I need a motion to approve.
I move to approve the consent agenda as read.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0. Next is the board report for the financial reports of November and December. We'll have our treasurer, Gary Burkle, report that.
Thanks, Bob. I think I'll do it from up here because I don't think I can see that screen from over there. So anyway, this is a treasury report. I'm Gary Burkle, Sun Lakes Country Club treasurer. This is a report on the December financial statements, which really is the end of the year financial statements. So just an overview. I have a hard time even seeing from here. But for the month of December, we had a surplus of $52,627. So basically, that means that our revenue for December exceeded our expenses by $52,627. And actually, we also had a surplus for the year of $266,204. Largely, what contributed to the surplus was the fact that the golf course actually came in well under budget. We had a loss for the golf course. This is golf course operations. We had a loss of $1,176,000.
Where was this, guys? We're getting this up and running.
Please hold on a second.
We're just going to hold while we get the microphone fixed. We'll put on some elevator music shortly.
I'm sorry. You cut me off because I was going to say loss. Thanks, Bob. Well, actually, the loss in the golf course, and as you know, but maybe not, but I've repeated it multiple times, is that the golf course and all of the functions in Sun Lake, swimming pool, the restaurant, obviously, they're all amenities. We don't expect them to make a profit, but we do expect is for them to come in on budget. And getting back to the golf course, and I think somebody previously mentioned in the golf committee that the revenue, the annual memberships, the golf tee times that were paid for in 2023, they actually went up from 2022. And so, that and the management of expenses made it so that the golf operations came in within budget, actually within less than budget by $474,950. The drag on our overall operations was the restaurant particularly, not so much the lounge. We ended up actually having a substantial loss in December of $109,891. I'm sorry, $109,850. And year to date,
$879,493, which is in excess of budget by $374,000 roughly. So that's obviously an area of concern. It's a reason primarily for the lounge expansion, as well as other good reasons, I think, for the lounge expansion. One area that has a continued concern to me is the balance in our cash operating account. I mean, really, when you look at standards for HOAs or other HOAs of our size, they have substantially more in their operating cash account than we have. The operating cash account is where all of the deposits from day-to-day operations, all of your dues go into, and all of our expenses are paid out of. And we really don't have much of a cash cushion. At the end of December, our balance in the cash account in the operating fund was $378,559, which sounds like a lot of money, but in reality, we should be closer to $1 million or $2 million because our monthly expenses are actually $1.2 million, or a little more than that, actually, when you consider the amount put into the repair and replacement fund. Our outstanding bills at the end of December were $1,140,013, and our largest bill was due to First Service for $854,000. This is an overview of what I just told you. I just told you that the December surplus or excess of revenue or expenses was $52,000. So you can see that at the bottom line of the first column. So the dues come in, our dues collected in December were $976,000. And as you can see, year to date, they were $11,713,000. So then we go down and use that money to pay all the department expenses, utilities, land maintenance, swimming pool, planning compliance. And the goal is for all of those, for your monthly dues to cover all these expenses. So when you come down, you see that after we pay all those department expenses, we have left $231,000, which covers the loss in the golf course and the loss in the restaurant, and leaving us with a surplus of $52,000. And year to date, it's $266,000, and you can see over on the right that, most of the departments were within budget, maybe obviously with the exception of common area and utilities. This graphic shows that, what commonly be referred to as a current ratio. And it's just a graphic illustration of a current ratio, which basically compares how much you have in cash and receivables. Receivables for us meaning mostly house accounts. We have a lot of past or due assessments. And most of those probably, unfortunately, won't be collected. But a largest amount is our house accounts, which are basically whenever you use your membership card in the lounge and the golf course or anywhere else, it ends up being due and paid in the next month, hopefully. And so at the end of December, when you compared cash and receivables, which were $893,879 to our bills, we still had a deficit of $246,000, which is a current ratio of about 0.8. This is an overview of the repair and replacement fund. So going back to this slide here, in addition to the your dues that come in, there's another amount that's paid or is included in dues, which goes to the repair and replacement fund. So in 2023, we put $2.1 million in the repair and replacement fund, and we had investment income of $172,000 and expenditures of $1,831,000. So we didn't spend what we planned on spending out of the repair and replacement fund. Actually, 440,000 less, roughly. Same thing with the capital improvement fund. I mean, that's the same kind of analysis. We had investment income of $51,884 and expenditures of $429, and at the end of December, there was $1,786,350 in the capital improvement fund. The lounge expansion is planned to be spent largely, or paid for largely, out of the capital improvement fund, with I think approximately $200,000 coming out of the repair and replacement fund. Just a reminder, so, and this is something I've said many times, is that we have three funds in our community that are distinct from each other. The operating fund, which I just talked mostly about, is for daily operations. Then obviously we have the repair and replacement fund, the capital fund. The repair and replacement fund is to repair and replace existing structures in our community, equipment, and all of that. And the capital improvement fund is used to be paid for something that's new and distinct, like a new building, a completely new structure along those lines, and not to be used for repair and replacement or for our operating fund. It is possible to borrow from the repair and replacement fund, but there's a number of restrictions on whether you can do that and how soon it needs to be repaid. One of the reasons why our operating fund is low as it is that we've had basically in the last 4 to 5 years, we've had some losses that have caused our overall assets versus liabilities to decrease. So at the end of December 2017, we had, and this includes all assets and all liabilities, not just current and cash. At the end of 2017, it was $879,000, and it's dipped to a deficit essentially at the end of 2023 to a negative $173,000. As I pointed out, this is just basically revenue sales, gross sales for the golf course. So memberships and golf tees, and this is how it has changed over the years. And as you can see, from the end of 2022 to the end of 2023, it increased. Well, increased in 2023 by roughly $70,000, $69,355. This I've already covered. What we had as a budgeted gross margin, basically revenue less direct expenses, so food cost, labor cost. The budget for 2023 was to have a loss of $471,000 in the restaurant and an actual profit or gross profit in the lounge of $206,000. The lounge came out a little ahead of budget profit-wise, but you can see the restaurant lost $815,000. Now, this is not the total loss. There's some supply cost, but restaurants often compare themselves based on their gross margin. And this is what's called the gross margin, revenue less direct costs. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Need a motion to review and file the November and December financial statement packet?
I will move to receive and file the November and December financials as stated here. You can hear me, right?
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 5-0. Next is the approval of the draft rules and regulations. We've been working on this for a while with Marcia's help. I think she led up that committee. In 2022, the Ad Hoc Rules and Regulation Committee was tasked with going through the rules and regulations and updating them. At that time, they submitted a draft and it went to the community for review. The board received a few comments from members for changes. The ad hoc committee reviewed the comments and made changes. The draft then went out to the community for a 60-day reading. To date, we have not received any additional comments regarding the draft rules and regulations. Therefore, the draft is on the agenda for final approval. If approved, the new rules and regulations will go into effect 15 days after approval, which will be February 8th, 2024. After being approved, the table of contents will be corrected. I need a motion in reference to that.
I move that we approve the draft rules and regulations.
I'll second that.
Any comments from the board?
I have one quick comment. Thank you, Marcia, and your team for doing this. This has been a year and a half, 2 years that we've been working on this. Because everybody, you know, we get something up and then someone goes, oh, we need to change this. And we get something written and, oh, we need to change this. So it's been a very long, ongoing project. But I think we really got a good rules and regulations here, and I'm excited for us to be able to move forward. So again, thank you.
Any comments from membership? Need a vote on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0. Next is District Delegate number 10. The Delegate Assembly has requested the appointment of a delegate for District 10, Jean Dobson, who I believe is here today. Jean, could you please stand up? In the back.
Give us a wave.
Thank you. Thank
So
you.
I move to approve Jean for District 10.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 5-0. Next appointment to the RV Lot Advisory Committee. The terms are from 1/1/24, ending 12/31/25. We have 3 applicants, Bob Drummond, Joe Cross, 4, Jim Ball, and James Caldwell. I need a motion in reference to that.
I so move to appoint those 3 that were just read.
4.
Unfortunately, four. I'm as bad as you, Bob. Unfortunately, none of them are here.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Before we vote, I'd just like to make a comment about we've got quite a few committees that we're going to be addressing today. With the implementation, pending implementation of the OPA project and some changes that are going to happen to charters, changes may happen to length of term, or term lengths within committees. First off, I'd like to thank all committee members, but I'd also like to point out to the committee members that there may be some changes happening when the OPA project is complete and implemented. So just keep that in mind. One big potential area is term lengths. So just wanted to let everybody know. Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 5-0. Next is the appointment of Financial Advisory Committee members. The terms will be 1/1/24 until 12/31/24. Following people will be appointed: Bill Best, Gino Tom Hyatt, Mary Jo McElwain, Ron Mitchell, and Steve Von Rakes. Need a motion in reference to that? Sorry about that, Gino.
I move approval.
I'll second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Passes 5-0. Next is Common Area Advisory Committee. We have 4 members for that committee being proposed: Chuck Chapman, Doug Deans, Sally Jo Schwartz, and Sandy Russell. I need a motion in reference to that.
I move to approve the 4 people applying for the Common Area Advisory Committee. Are any of them here?
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 5-0. Next is Recreation Advisory Committee member Pam Glatt, term 1/1/24 to 12/31/25. I need a motion in reference to appointing Pam to the Rec Committee.
So moved.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 5-0. Next is the Lifestyles Advisory Committee member. We have 1 member being recommended, Donna Henning, term 1/1/24 to 12/31/25.
Need a motion in reference to that?
So move.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 5-0. Next is the Golf Advisory Committee members. We have 4 members being submitted: Michelle Clark, Sandy Howell, and Doug Jensen. Need a motion in reference to those?
I move to approve.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 5-0. Next is the facility use request for charitable trust. I need a motion in reference to that. The management received a letter from the charitable trust asking to use the facility for charitable events in 2024, as we have every year. Charity will not be just 1 week this year. It will be spread over a few weekends throughout the year. Additionally, they'll be asking to use Sun Lakes Media to promote their events. Need a motion in reference to them.
Make a motion to approve the charitable trust using facility events in 2024.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0. Next is Southern California Edison is requesting to use a portion of our association to land their helicopter and then conduct work on the power lines. I need a motion in reference to the request.
So move.
I'll second because I'd like a little discussion, just for all of us to know, because we're going to see this helicopter out flying around. Chris, can you give us an idea of where exactly this is going to be?
It is on the North 40 up there, so
Back behind Breckenridge Way?
that
up
is
way?
correct. There's an area that is flat that they can then land, and they can also get their supplies and everything that they need. And they'll be putting, I understand, those red balls, or, well, yeah, they're more, yeah, sorry. Yeah, from a distance, they look small.
Yeah.
But they're required to do that, and I think they're also doing some line checks as well, as required by state of California.
Thank you.
Well, maybe we can have David Keeley contact them and use them for our golf ball drop. Okay, I have a motion and a second on that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 5-0. Next is facility usage by VFW. Management received a request from VFW Post 233 to hold their annual awards banquet in the ballroom. They've held this many times in the past. They would like to schedule it for Sunday, March 24th, 2 to 4. The ballroom is available at that time. They will be awarding Sun Lakes with the Patriot Partner Award for continued support. Additionally, they would be ordering treats from our food and beverage operation. Need a motion in reference to that?
I move approval.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0. Amended Charter Golf Advisory Committee. Management received a request from GAC to amend their charter. The reason for this amendment is that the Couples Club is going inactive and will not have a representative on the GAC. Therefore, they're asking to remove Couples Club from the charter and add another member at large to fill their spot on the GAC. Now, I think what they mean is inactive is that they're not a club, but they're still active. I think they still get together on Sundays and golf. I need a motion in reference to that.
I move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now comes the fun part. Homeowners' comments. I have some a request here for homeowners to make a comment. Remember, when you make the comment, be polite, be respectful, keep it within 3 minutes. Otherwise, you will be asked to stop your speech.
And along those same lines, Jason, I know, is not in a really easy place for everybody to see, but he does have the timer. So please glance up periodically and look at Jason, because he'll be holding signs up that say you have a minute or 30 seconds or stop. So please take a time to look at Jason so he can keep you on track.
First speaker, Sue Savage.
Start timer, 3 minutes. Good afternoon, board members. My name is Gladys Sue Savage, District 15. The board earns our respect by working hard to keep our community top shelf. Listen to all they did. I thank the board for your hard work. My name, Gladys Sue Savage, may ring a bell because the board had every district delegate give each resident a message from the board with my name, Gladys Sue Savage, in it. The last time I stood here, I asked the board to provide a copy of our bank statements. The law requires the board to provide documents within 10 days to me or any other HOA member in good standing. I am not special. After asking for 4 months and not getting the documents, I took the board to court where I got everything I asked for, including court costs. I got no great pleasure in taking FSR and the board to court, but they left me with no choice. If FSR had done their job, we would not even be talking about this. Does the board need to obey the law? It is FSR's job to know the law and their job to advise the board. The board spent our money to have our attorney write me a 4-page letter claiming I would not get the documents in court. How much did the attorney's letter cost all of us? How much did FSR charge us to go to court with the board? FSR spent hours copying the bank statements. Wouldn't it be cheaper for all of us if FSR would have done their job, obeyed the law, and advised the board to give me the statements in the first place? The board definitely works hard. There's no doubt about it. Could FSR advise the board in such a manner to not leave us open to lawsuits? It is why we pay FSR the big bucks. We have a board election in 2 months. Could FSR work with this board regarding the law? I really wished I was standing up here talking about the ways I know we can make more money, like when I was city treasurer. Instead, I have to talk about the lawsuit. Thank you for listening. My name is Gladys Sue Savage.
Next is Greg Cochran.
Good afternoon, board and my fellow Sun Lakes homeowners. I would like to comment on the message from the board attached to my January district newsletter. Did anyone here, besides Bob Walter and Chris Mitchell, go to the small claims court case December 18th? No. Well, I went to court to see with my own eyes and hear with my own ears what took place. And there is deceptive and suspicious information out in our community that I would like to clear up regarding this court matter. First, on behalf of all the people of Sun Lakes, I would like to thank Sue Savage for standing up for all of us by requesting the August, September, and October bank statements that she and any other of us have a right to request and receive according to Davis-Sterling Act and California Civil Code 5200. After many months of requesting this information and the board ignoring her request, the board forced her to file suit to obtain the documents any one of us is entitled to. Since the board and First Service has access to our attorney, they could easily find out that Ms. Savage was absolutely right and entitled to all the documents she requested. So why did they make her go all the way through the lawsuit to get what she was legally entitled to receive, knowing they had no legal leg to stand on in court? Ms. Savage received every single thing she asked for and more, because the court ordered them to pay the court filing fee of $60 back to her. She didn't file suit for money. She filed for documents which she was legally entitled to, and they brought them all to court because they knew they would lose. Word on the street is that the board did not lose this lawsuit. Wonder how that got out on the street. As I mentioned, she received every single thing that she was entitled to, plus her $60 filing fee back. When this happens in open court, you lose the lawsuit. On the message from the board states that, quote, the matter was resolved through mediation, end quote. This is a deceptive statement because many people have mentioned it in conjunction to the board not losing the lawsuit. The judge read the agreement in open court and ask both parties in open court if this is what you agreed to, with both parties answering yes. And then I watched Bob Walter sign the agreement in open court. Then the court clerk stamped and entered the final judgment. Using the term mediation alone is deceptive without explaining, without explanation.
Thank you very much for your comments.
I'm just about done.
Your time is up. Thank you very much.
Not a single one of these things should have
Excuse
occurred.
me, your time is up. You can make up stories later on, but not here. Only 3 minutes. Your 3 minutes are up. Yeah, shame on you. If anyone is interested, the mediation agreement is available on the website, and it's posted in the North and South Clubhouse. It's a mediation agreement signed by myself. It's not a finding of who was at fault. The mediation agreement indicated that these had already been received and that we were not at fault. But you can look at it on the website. Yes. Sorry, Don.
Perfectly all right. Take your time. I guess I'm a little bit odd tonight because I'm actually going to be asking to help and work with the board tonight. So let's see how this all goes. I was planning on reviewing contracts and costs obtained under Davis Sterling Code for the Sandwedge remodel construction project, which was reported by management company as a $75,800 cost. Management's own year-to-date Kaplan Reserve report ending August 31st, if you go through it, actually totals for all of the items that were identified for Sandwedge an actual cost of $138,000. I will present the details of this at a later date. Following the December financial results that Gary has alluded to, there's something a lot more important to discuss. The November restaurant losses were over $101,000, which is $62,000 over budget. December restaurant losses were over $127,000, which is a whopping $92,000 over budget. Only these 2 months' losses alone erase all the savings that might be gained from the renegotiation of the FSR contract. This is only the losses over the budget, not the losses in total. Year to date, we've now set a record of losing over $1 million in the restaurant. Our operating cash has fallen to only $378,000 from over a $2 million level 5 years ago when FSR took over. Our accrued payroll has soared, as Gary mentioned, to over $700,000, and a major portion of this is essentially a loan from FSR for unpaid labor. Our management problem is much greater than just the restaurant, as noted with the facts above. There is no communication from management as how they plan on correcting these unacceptable losses. There is no plan for management to implement basic business operating procedures to guide any changes. You can't keep increasing prices in the restaurant to the moon to solve these problems. The team that handed the board 4 quality initial proposals from 4 highly qualified management companies in only 49 days is requesting a meeting with the board at their next executive session to discuss continuing and completing the due diligence analysis of proposals that should be done. Our FAC management proposal team is ready to get to work. Our team is made up with Steve Onreich, Harry Finnegan, Mary Jo McElwain, and myself with support from Treasurer Gary Burkle. We are respectfully requesting an agreement today to hold a meeting to develop a written authorization resolution to complete what the team began months ago. This will eliminate any more communication misunderstandings. We are excited about working as a team with the board to accomplish this goal. The management proposal team will produce an initial written plan on how the process would work. It will be presented to the board in less than 10 days. The project will be completed between the FAC proposal team and the board with the assistance of 2 members from the procurement team.
You're running out of time, Don.
Bob, I request that meeting with you guys. I think it's going to be very positive, and we're going to come to a good solution.
Thank you very much. Next is...
Are you able to commit to that meeting?
Not at this time, because I would have to discuss it with others.
I'm not asking for any decisions to be made. I'm only asking for a meeting for the benefit of the community.
Bob has given you his answer.
Thank you very much. I personally am one member of the 5-member board. We would have to discuss it. I think you understand that.
Okay, look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
You know, we're a team. We're not just one person dictating it. Next is...
I'd like to be part of that team, with
Ajit.
my team.
Good afternoon, board members, administration, and Sun Lakers. The survey on FSR transparency was conducted on November-December. Summary results were sent to participants and posted in December. Detailed results were sent to participants in January. Out of 632 participants, 97% said they want the board to demand transparency from FSR, and the same number of participants said that they want the board to get multiple bids. The board was informed of the strong will of respondents in December. They still ignored it and signed a contract with FSR without demanding transparency. The board still does not know how much FSR benefits from its contracts with Sun Lakes, neither do we. Thankfully, there is hope. Bob Walter asked me to meet with him and Chris Mitchell yesterday. Bob Walter said he would ask the board to vote on sending a letter to Amy Matheson, president of FSR. There is absolutely no reason I can think of why a board member would refuse to vote in favor of a demand for transparency, but strange things happen. Thank you, Bob, for your assurance to follow up on this. And if there was any activity this morning, in morning session, I would like you to report it to us, please. If FSR turns down our demand, it becomes grounds for termination of the contract, but not before we have gotten bids and interviewed and selected a better competing company to manage Sun Lakes, which will tell us clearly what they will charge us, amongst other things. Having been disappointed and disgusted by the board's ignoring the will of 97% of responding Sun Lakers, we decided to form an organization called Sunlight. Sun Lakers for Integrity, Transparency, and Excellence. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. The purpose is to educate Sun Lakers, provide a forum for discussion and analysis of issues, to help the board in decision-making when they don't take all factors into account, and if the board ignores us, then to support candidates in the next election who will take right decisions. You're all welcome to join. You will hear more about Sunlight in days ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Janice?
Good afternoon, I'm Janice Rice, 1435 Paradise Island Lane. I've got a totally different subject. People, please stop at the stop signs. I was almost hit on Monday, and it probably would have killed my passenger, and I'm not exaggerating. It was scary. We followed the person, got their driver's license. I did turn that into Securitas. We've gone to a lot of effort to put up new stop signs, which I thank you guys for doing. They're big, they're yellow, they're there. Why aren't people stopping? Why are we ignoring it? It's blatant. And for me, honking my horn and yelling obscenities inside my car is doing no good. So I like the idea of if you see something, say something, report it. We don't fall out of any other laws. This is California. Stop signs are meant to be stopped at. And please, for the safety of all of us who live here, respect that, please. Thank you.
Thank you. If there's no others, I would like to invite Chad Chatham to come up.
I'd like to change the perspective just a little bit. I'm a new member of Sun Lakes. And my wife and I have totally enjoyed our time here. We live in Newport Beach, and one of my clients moved to Northern California, and we leased her home for a year. And during that time, which was the beginning of 2021, we fell in love with the people in Sun Lakes. We fell in love with the people that gave their time and their effort to create this. We didn't know the board at the time, but all of the effort that they have worked for years. We see articles now in the newspaper or Sun Lakes Life, or in our newsletter, our district letters. We have comments up here. This is not what I think should be happening. I think we should be appreciating the people and their efforts. In my world, in my business world, and I'm still working, we get paid for what we do. We get paid very, very well. In our world, we don't give it away for free like everybody does here. It is amazing to me that they do all of this and they get, in some cases, get hassled for it. So my wife and I couldn't believe the first 90 days we were here, walking our dog, people waving to us as we were walking down the street, waving to us as we were driving the right speed limits in the community, visiting the lounge, paying prices that we thought were fantastic compared to what we pay in Newport at restaurants. The food was good, the service was good, the people were hospitable to us. We learned their names, they learned our names. We don't see this where we've lived for the last 18 years. It's not as friendly, it's not as nice, it's not as warm. We dance on Friday night, and I see a number of you here that are participating on Friday and Saturday nights. Where do you get free entertainment and free dancing? My wife and I have danced more in the last year and a half than we've done in our entire marriage. We've made a lot of great friends here. We've participated in a lot of activities that wouldn't happen if it wasn't for the people that were donating their time. So, my wife and I are going to take a little bit of a different, to try to present a little different outlook. We're going to counter some of the advertising that's on the newspapers and the newsletters, and we're going to give the new perspective of Sun Lakes to 2 new members that have been here for a little less than 3 years. And hopefully maybe somebody will read it and will think about when they first started, when they first moved here, how much they appreciate it, how much they are grateful that they found the opportunity to buy a home, well-priced, to be able to participate in the activities that are here for us, except for the HOA, and to make a lot of friends with a lot of commonality. So that's what we're going to put our effort for, and we hope that some of you will too, and you'll spread the word.
Thank you very much. Next is director comments. Gary?
I just want to thank you all for coming, and that's all I have to say.
I agree. Thanks for coming. I do want to say one thing. We've got a lot of change coming on right now, and a lot of it is in the restaurant and lounge. And you heard Chris and Marcia both say that we are stopping breakfast starting February 4th. I'm going to spin that a little bit. The sandwich will open at 11 a.m. You will have a menu that includes breakfast items. So you will still be able to get breakfast items at 11 a.m. in the sandwich. And then, of course, over the weekend, chef gets creative and creates wonderful breakfast items, and you can go in there for breakfast and sports, because that is ongoing, and I applaud the restaurant and lounge for doing that. 11. Oh, on the weekends you're opening at 8, and I believe these are correct. Chris, if I'm wrong, tell me. We are going to roll out good numbers that don't change so that we can start to know when we're going to be there. So watch for a lot of big change in the restaurant and lounge, and continue to come. We got football this weekend, last 2 playoff games, so come on out for that. The other thing I want to talk about is charity. Everybody knows Charity Week. Well, Charity Week is now becoming Charity Weekends, and you've heard something about that. Our first one is in April for Sunday at Augusta. Then in June is all your favorites from our typical June Charity Week. And in September is the fashion show. There's a lot of new stuff. All your favorites are staying. There's a lot of new stuff. And I want everybody to get excited about that. So This Saturday at 1 p.m. in the South Clubhouse will be a volunteer information meeting, so you can learn more about what we're going to do, where your favorite event is. Spoiler report, the Monster Scramble is moving to April, and we need help on all of these. So if you're interested in being part of the charity weekends, which ought to be a lot of fun, please plan to come Saturday, and we will give you much more information and hopefully get your name and phone number as a volunteer. Thank you.
Welcome, everyone. I just have one thing that I wanted to say. As far as the age verification forms go, this is really important, and I think it's important that we do it right away. So hopefully we'll have our delegates get their zone captains to go out and encourage our residents to fill those forms out. Thank you.
Randy?
Excuse me. I just wanted to say thank you all for coming. I do appreciate and listen to all comments. Obviously, as any human being, I like to see the more positive comments, and I appreciate those as well. We are not perfect. We are volunteers. We do work our butts off, and hopefully if we've made some people unhappy, we can fix that. And if we need to, we will. Simple as that.
Thank you. Mine will be brief also. Well, it's campaign season again. After February 9th, you'll notice that signs will be put out and we'll be beginning to campaign. And remember, if you're going to be campaigning, don't put your signs in common areas. You know, we're not allowed to do that. And I ask for all of the candidates to be positive and respectful to one another. And we should all be doing what is best for our beautiful community here. You know, I mean, that's why we're here, to help the community. I was personally impressed with the way our community came together last summer. I don't know if you recall or not, we had a fire behind Breckenridge, and a few days later we had a tropical storm come through, and many, many volunteers stepped forward, and I want to acknowledge and thank a few of them that did so. This was the EPAP team. Marcia Midget and Linda Spalding were doing sandbagging along with Cal Martin. Pete Peterson organized the cleaning up of the championship golf course, and many, many others also participated. So I was looking really impressed with them stepping forward and helping our community. And I'm hoping that community spirit can be continued, here, in Sun Lakes, not just during the campaign season, but all year long. Thank you very much. Meeting adjourned.